Ready.
Okay.
All right. Hi, guys. We are going to go ahead and get started since it's 8:32. I want to say happy Monday. I hope that you have had a productive day. I know a few of us were talking before. I know that a lot of you are pushing through and crunching through to the end of the month. And I will just tell you, it's all worth it. It seems hard right now, but it is worth it for that April paycheck and for all those goals that you've set with your business. So keep going. Let us know if you need help. There is one, we dealt with quite a few entered issues where people have orders entered and they weren't processing. Please know that Plexus from corporate, they are working on doing several large batches of going through and processing those orders, and then they will manually go through and do those orders. So unless you know that you have a bad credit card or your customer has a credit card that needs to be changed based on the expiration date or a chip, don't worry and don't spend hours and hours on the phone with customer service trying to get that fixed. Hopefully we will have by the end of day business tomorrow, a lot of those issues will be resolved. Yeah, you breathed. What would you like to say?
I didn't. I got nothing. I'm just here.
You and the dog are like in my space. Phil's about to leave to go pick up Riley, which is a good thing. But anyway, we are super excited that our super sweet and sassy friend, Natalie Knabe, is with us tonight. She is a Sapphire, soon-to-be Diamond ambassador. And we got the pleasure of really getting to know Natalie 2 years ago now in Maui. And we were kind of like buddies down the hall, and she's just a delight. She's super fun, and she's really, really skilled with follow-up. And so she has offered to share with us a little bit of her story, as well as the fortune is in the follow-up. So we'll turn it over to Nat. Oh, hold on. We muted you. Hold on.
Yes. Hold on. Unmute. There we go.
No, you muted her again.
I don't know because we did it at the same time.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you, Jen and Phil, for having me on. We actually were next door neighbors in Maui. In a little backstory, Phil and my best friend's husband used to work together. What a small world. So I'm glad that I wasn't doing anything to
not with me.
Oh, did you hear him? He's so cocky.
He is. We need him to leave.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's how I met them, and just the instant connection of knowing somebody else made it kind of fun. And Phil's just kind of annoying, so you don't really have any choice but to just hang out and talk to him, right? Anyway, thank you guys for having me on. A little bit about my backstory. I'm going to try to make it quick. I was a little chunky monkey and was tired of being a chunky monkey and went off. I mean, literally, I probably weighed at one point 180 something pounds, and was just I'm a photographer also, and I have a little studio in the back. Anyway, one of my girlfriends wanted to get married in the backyard, and I was, as I called myself, the chunky girl, being the photographer and being in front of everybody. And that was my pivotal moment on getting ready and what I thought was losing weight, but really it was about getting healthy. I was 37, and so I've been doing this journey for 33 years now, so I'm 40, but I was 37 and I was kind of a mess. I was hormonal. I myself, I was just not happy with life. And I got to thinking, how am I going to deal with this? This is just what my life has to offer for me. But that wasn't good enough. So anyway, I thought it's time. I have 3 children. At that time, my youngest was, I guess 2 years old. And I didn't have the excuse of having another baby. So anyway, off and running I went, but I didn't start out with Plexus. I started out with another company, and they were expensive. They were like $300 a month, and it was meal shakes and all this good stuff, and a lot of capsules. Why am I drawing a blank on what that's called? Anyway, a lot of those to take, but I wanted it so badly that I did it. The $300 was becoming quite a struggle for us, and all of a sudden, I was losing weight and I was being successful. But Celeste Gwynn and I grew up together, and so she started posting about. I was on hormone pellets because they said that my hormones were off. I also have a thyroid disorder. So I was trying to regulate that. I started raging from the hormones because my body absorbed too much testosterone. So then I became, I was raging, and then I had to mask the rage. So I called my doctor and I said, I'm crazy. You have to give me some Wellbutrin, or you have to give me something. And of course he did, because doctors will do that, right? They give you one thing, then they'll give you another. And then, so all I was doing was masking everything and feeling worse and worse, and just really thinking that this is what, the middle of my life was going to look like. So anyway, so I started taking this other stuff, had success with it, but I also was walking a lot, and just getting outside. I was determined. And mainly, guys, a lot of it was, I was so focused on everybody else, and I'd never just taken the time to put my oxygen mask on first, and it was time. It was really hard. My family didn't adjust very well to it, mainly because I had created that, right? So anyway, it was the pivotal time in my life. So off and running, I started losing weight. Celeste starts posting about how it burns muscle and burns fat and not muscle. And I also was reading that we women, as we aged, we need muscle mass. And so I was trying to build some muscle mass, and I thought, all right, so I called Celeste and I said, okay, what is this? And I have a lot of financial advisors in my family. And so doing an MLM I was going to get a lot of grief for. So I joined unbeknownst to anybody else and went off and running. So I got my little pink drinking accelerator, because that's where I started 3 years ago. And guys, within the first week, and let me tell you that any weight loss supplement, any weight loss plan, this Chiquita has done it. So I've tried all sorts of stuff, from my hair feeling like it's growing on top of my head to I feel like I'm buzzed out, to all this other stuff. Nothing was really working. So anyway, I started taking this. Like I said, I have 3 children, and I joyfully went upstairs and I cleaned the upstairs. I don't joyfully go upstairs half the time, and I sure as heck am not going to joyfully clean it. So the fact that I did that was pretty profound for me. So I remember sitting on the love seat going, what have you done differently today, Natalie? And it wasn't until I realized that I had taken that pink drink. So anyway, and later on, I found out that the accelerator has 5-HTP in it, which makes you joyful. So bottom line, that's my story. I just wanted to make enough to make a car payment. I really was not going to work this business. Wasn't going to. It was wholesale only. And if I could make a few extra bucks, to put in my pocket, maybe to make a car payment, then that was fine. Obviously, the good Lord had other plans for me, because I didn't stop at $500. But anyway, so what I want to talk to you guys about is follow-up. So that's kind of my story in a nutshell. I ended up losing more weight than I wanted to lose. I feel like $1,000,000. I'm not on any of those medications. They're struggling to get my thyroid medication regulated, because my system is running so well. It's almost like I don't even need the thyroid medication anymore, but they're fearful to take me off of it. So anyway, that's kind of my story. That's where I am health-wise. I feel so blessed by Plexus, because not only has it helped me, but it's also helped my children and my family from a health standpoint. We are all a lot different health-wise because of it. So anyway, enough about me. So that's kind of how my journey started. And the money was second. And of course, I obviously don't mind it. And it has blessed us in many, many ways too, but I could go on and on about that. So what I want to talk to you guys today about is follow-up. And Jen said that I was the expert in that. And I have a confession to make. I have been really, really poor in my follow-up the last couple weeks. And let me tell you what has happened. I woke up one morning I thought I had sent a girl how to join, because she said, I want to join. I'm ready to join. I want to join your team. I thought I sent her directions. I put my kids to bed. I went to bed. 2 weeks later, I'm like, 2 weeks went by, literally, guys. I wake up one morning, another ambassador is introducing her.
Ouch.
I laid there in bed, and I'm such a self-reflector that I went, man, it's your fault. I immediately went back through and, anyway, that strike number 1. Strike number 2, I had a lady recently ask me for a sample. Never sent her the sample. I struggle with the mailbox. I don't know what my problem is. I struggle with the mailbox. So I just saw her posting the other day about Plexus. So that's strike number 2. I can't remember what my strike number 3 was, but I recently had one. Oh, this is kind of a half a strike. she, one of my level ones is, we all met at church. And so one of the girls had actually been kind of talking to that level one, but said she felt a better connection with me. So this was kind of a blessing in disguise. But again, I didn't follow up, and this is how it happened. So she asked me for a sample, and did Natalie mail the sample? Natalie did not mail said sample. So this chick signed up. I get an email that says, Mary, welcome, Mary, new ambassador. Thankfully, she went under my level one. No big deal. That's where she should have gone anyway. But my point is this. You have to follow up. Guys, that's 3 in 1 month. I would have gone silver again. I normally get 3 a month. I try to get at least 3 a month. But I would have gone double silver this month had I followed my own instructions. So do as I say, don't do as I'm currently doing. All right, so here we go. I think follow-up is huge, clearly. And I was talking to a girlfriend of mine, and she said, Natalie, how did you get your name? Listen, past summer, I was number 1 for having the most, what is it, Jen? I enrolled the most.
Our enrollees, yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't even realize that I had done it, but I was the number 1. I was like, oh, what does that mean? Does that mean that I added the entire company for that particular week? Yeah, that's what it meant. Oh, okay, that's pretty cool, right? So my girlfriend said, what the heck are you doing? And when I'm on, I am really on fire. So I'm going to teach you guys how to be on fire. First off, I keep a spiral notebook. I keep list of I'm a lister, I'm a writer, I'm old school, right? Write everything out. Anyway, basically, I reach out to them at least once a week. I know y'all are probably going, oh my gosh, I always can think of a reason to reach out to them. So first off, what I love to do when I first am establishing a relationship with them is I get them to tell me, what is your goal with Plexus? They will oftentimes tell me that their goal is what? Weight loss, right? Because that's what normally lures people in. But as I talk to them, I explain to them that we have 3 different lines. We have the gut line, the pain line, and the weight loss line. And so as we start talking, and I don't know if any of y'all follow me on Facebook, but I do not mind talking about poop. I do not mind talking about bowel movements. And I really think that a good, healthy poop is where it all starts. And so they kind of know that. And I will meet somebody for the first time, and poop will come out of my mouth in that conversation, much like it did with you guys. And so they end up walking away from me going, I don't want to lose weight. I just want to poop, right? And I have this gal that's willing to help me. So the main thing is to get the goal. If you can get the goal, hold on a second. They still have a couple of minutes. Give them a couple of minutes, okay? And then come back. Sorry. I've got my oldest daughter reporting if my 2 little ones are getting in bed, and we're recording. Sorry about that. So anyway, my goal is if I have something that I can write next to their name, weight loss, poops once a week, has plantar fasciitis, blah, 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 that gives me something that I can go back to, right? Okay, so they've given me that. And I'm going to use my lady in California as an example. And she wanted to lose weight. She had hit a plateau, had weight loss surgery, had done all this stuff and wanted to lose weight. So after telling her really fast, kind of my elevator spiel about the 3 different lines, she goes, whoa, 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 hold on a second. You mean this product's going to help me go to the bathroom? Long story short, she kind of drug her feet a little bit. I knew that she wanted to jump in as a wholesale ambassador, so I just kept pinging her. Hey girl, what's going on? How's it going? And I could be funny with her. I'd even say, how are your bowels today? Wink, wink, right? Because I could. I already had that relationship established with her. And so I was dripping on her every few days. And I thought, I probably need to back it up a little bit. Side story where I have a girlfriend of mine and she's starting to sell Unique, and so she called me and she's like, I need some network marketing, give me some information. And for starters, of course I told her that she really needed to come work for me, but that's beside the point. So I was giving her this information, and she said, as a thank you, I'm going to send you a bronzer. I ended up loving the bronzer. I liked packaging. I liked everything about it. Girlfriend of mine had some lipstick. I said, what color is that? She's like, it's blah 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 from Unique. And I was like, sweet, I'm going to order that from my gal, right? So I message my gal, tell her what lipstick I want. I want to order that lipstick. Have I ordered that lipstick? No. Has it been 2 months? Yes. Has she reached out to me many times? Yes. Am I annoyed? No. Am I going, ugh, just order it. You have the money. You want it. What's your holdup? What's my holdup? I'm going to tell you what my holdup is. I'm lazy. I don't want to go to the car, and I don't want to get my credit card, and I don't want to have to order. So what I'm saying is you have to follow up. If she would stop following up with me, I'm never going to order the lipstick. But she keeps following up, and every time I'm like, oh, yes, I need to order the lipstick. I want the lipstick. Oh, my gosh, I love lipstick. Like, lipstick is a major addiction for me, right? Anyway, so that was really pivotal for me too, in the fact that when I lovingly hound on these people, they aren't annoyed with it. At least that's what I tell myself anyway, right? Because they've already told me what their goals are. I already know what their goals are. So what I want you to do is you have your little notes next to it and you reach out. I personally like instant messaging because I can see a dialogue. So I personally like following up with instant messaging. I try not to go back and forth between texting and instant messaging, but I do try to get their cell number, and I try to say, hey, when's a good time? I'd like to talk to you a little bit more, about your bowels or your weight loss or your plantar fasciitis or whatever the situation may be. So I do try to get that. So when I lovingly hound on them, they're not responding to my messages, you bet your sweet booty that I'm going to start texting them or I'm going to call them. Because here, I'm very competitive, but I'm very competitive with myself. And here is what you guys all have to walk away with. If you get nothing else from the crazy lady, you have to, and I say that because my shirt says crazy Plexus lady on it, and I am kind of crazy, is if you do not get that person on your team, if you do not get that person on the products, somebody else will. If you do not get that person on the products, you do not get that person on your team, somebody else will. I just gave you 3 examples. Guys, I wasn't immune to it. I don't know what I thought. I don't know if I thought I was. I don't really know. I needed to get my head out of my backside and start doing, my follow-up. But here's what my follow-up looks like. So I'm going to use Jen as an example. And Jen is constipated all the time, right? So she tells me this. Yeah, she needs to lose a little bit of weight. This is pretend, okay? So she's telling me this, and I'm like, okay, perfect. She tells me that she's going to talk to her husband about it. That annoys me. But anyway, so she's going to talk to her husband about it, which to me, that tells me she's looking for an out. She really wants all this, but she's looking for an out. So she's going to talk to her husband about it. So I'm going to say, okay, and in a couple of days, 2 days, 48 hours max, I'm going to get back in there and I'm going to say, hey, Jen, how's it going? I'm going to go to her page first and I'm going to find something cute about her family or something funny about her husband or whatever the case may be. And I'm going to say something about that too, right? Because you want to be personable. People like it when you like them. People like it when you know something about them. Or it looks so awesome, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, have you had a chance to talk to Crazy Phil and see if he's on board with this? Might go, oh, I haven't said anything to him. She might not even respond to my message. That's okay. If it doesn't say read, there's a good chance that it popped up on her phone so she saw it. Okay, so we know she saw it. She doesn't respond to me. Okay, so I go back. She's on my little list, right, to follow up with. So then I go back a few days later, 3 days later or so. I'm not kidding. 3 or 4 days later, and I find an excuse to reach out to her. Hey, I was watching the Super Bowl and I saw all those commercials about people's gut and gut health, and it made me think of you. I know it's so important for you. I know you're really wanting to work on your issues. Spell them out. Don't say issues. Spell out X, Y, and Z. Remind her again what y'all talked about, and just say, hey, I'm really looking forward to helping you. Assume the sale. I'm looking forward to helping you, right? Okay, good. So she still doesn't respond to you. That's okay. That's all right. You're still dripping on her, right? She's going, oh my goodness, I need to do that. All right. So persistency is the key, guys. And back in college, I wanted this job at the Limited. They didn't need me, but I went in every 3 to 4 days. Her name was Sunny. I said, Sunny, do you have that position available for me? She said, no, Natalie, I don't. All right. Walked out. 3 days later, Sunny, do you have that position available for me? No, Natalie, I don't. Okay. Came back. Hey, Sunny. She goes, yes, I have the position available for you. She didn't have the position available, but she made one because what? Persistency is key. And you're doing it. $15% off. You can get 15% off. That's a total of blah, blah, blah. Here's the key. Do not give her the code in your follow-up. Don't give her the code because you need that in your next follow-up. See what I'm saying? Do not give her the expiration date for that because guess what you've just done? You've just delayed the entire process until the 15th. And then on the 15th, guess what? Her husband's not going to approve it, right? So she's going to have that extra excuse. So you're going to reach out and you're going to say, oh my goodness, I'm so excited. The company's doing this. They rarely ever do it. Let me know. I'd love to get you started. Assume the sale again. All right. So now I might get let a little bit more time go in between. So then she's still not responding or she's saying, oh yeah, I'm still working on talking to my husband. She's still not moving, right? She's not moving fast enough for me. Here is what I have found, girls, is key. It is so simple, and quite honestly, if the unique lady would do this with me, I probably would have already ordered. Here's what you do. You've already talked to her. You know she needs what? The triplex, right? Because she's working on her gut. Here is what you do. And it subconsciously works for them. So you say, hey, Jen, I was thinking about you, and I really don't want you to miss out on this 15% off. So I'm going to give you the directions on how to go ahead wholesale ambassador, right? Because that's what Phil and Jen teach y'all's team. I've heard that video, we're going to go ahead and everybody's going to be a wholesale ambassador. We're going to go back to preferred customers in a minute. Anyway, so you just tell her, and this is what you say. Hey, and it's line, you dumb it down, girls. And I don't know if there's any boys on here. If there are, I'm sorry. You dumb it down. There's one more? One boy? Okay, one boy. All right. You're going to dumb it down, right? So you're going to say, go to my website, www.com. Enter. I want you to click on join up in the right-hand corner. Enter. You're going to see a box. You're going to hit agree. Enter. Walk them through every step. And also, while you're doing it, then you're going to say, okay, so on this screen, it's going to ask for your social security number. That's if on the off chance you ever make any money, they're going to need to pay you, right? So just put that in there, and then you're going to come up with I can't remember what it's called because I get my iPad out with the keyboard and I get my computer out. So I'm like literally, because I don't remember all the steps, quite honestly, so I do it as I'm typing it to them, right? Okay, and then I say, on this one, you're going to get a duplicate website. So I really want you to remember what that duplicate website, needs to be something kind of cool that you're going to remember. Like mine's Natalie K. I always remember that. And just tell them that. You're answering all the questions that they are going to have in their head. Do you see what I'm doing here? So you hit enter. First off, by making every single one of those their own line, you really dumb it down for them. It's not this big paragraph of stuff, which sometimes visually can be overwhelming. And get this, you are now sending bing, 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 8 or 9 different times, right? So by the time they're going to be like Sunny, they are like, for the love of God, I'm joining this woman's team. She must be passionate about it. I've got to go ahead and do it. And guys, if she doesn't do it then, but she reaches out and she says, financially, I just can't do it. Take note. If she says, I can do it on Friday, set an alarm in your phone. And on Friday, hey, it's Friday. Happy Friday. I'm so excited that you're going to be joining this week. Blah, blah, blah. Always assume the sale. Never give them an answer that is what? No. You never give them that answer. Another thing that you can do when you're reaching out to them, I had it in my head. What was it? Oh, you can say, hey, Jen, girl, I know you want that gut. Let's do this. I'm passionate about it. As you can see, I know these products work. I can send you some testimonies if you like. One of the things sometimes that I like to throw out there is because I really want them to be a wholesale customer and I know the products are really going to work, is that I'll even say, girl, worst case scenario. I always like to worst case scenario it, and I even say it like that. I'm like, worst case scenario, this doesn't work. I will refund you your money. I will give you your money back. And I realize that I'm Sapphire, and y'all are probably maybe sitting there thinking, well, God, Natalie, you can afford to give them their, whatever. I still did that when I would, and I only had to do it one time, guys. Only had to buy back like half a bag of Slim. Anyway, it ended up being fine, and she was allergic to it, so I didn't mind doing it anyway. I needed to save face with her because, quite honestly, she shouldn't order the product. But anyway, enough of that. So you can say, worst case scenario, I will buy it. So you have answered every one of their questions, right? Anything that they've thought, what if this doesn't work? What if this? Why are they wanting my social? What's this duplicate site? You're answering all those questions. Guys, you do that. I promise you, you will get an email that says, you have a new ambassador. You have a new customer every single time. And I was telling my girlfriend this, bringing it full circle, when she said, Natalie, let me see what you do. But can I read what you've said to somebody? And I go, sure. She read it and she goes, you hound them. And I go, I do not. She goes, yeah, you do. She goes, you do it lovingly, but you hound them. And so now my team has coined it lovingly hounding them. And there probably is a lot of truth to that, but it's much like the unique lady with me. I'm not offended by it. I'm actually thankful for the reminder. And actually, you know what? I kind of feel a little bit like a jerk that I haven't done it. And I know she wants me to. I know she stands behind her product. So bottom line, they're not getting annoyed with you. And you need to be thinking in your head, if I don't get Jen to get this triplex from me, she's going to get it from Susie down the road. I promise you guys. So that's that. Also, with preferred customers, another thing that I like to do with them, as Jen and Phil have shared with you guys, is I like to try to, move them over. Right now, with the 15% off, you guys should be raking in the ambassadors, because what you do is you go to every stinking one of your preferred customers, hopefully before their auto has already shipped. I don't know, maybe we've missed it on some of them, but you send them out an email and you go, hey, Susie, I noticed that in your last order. Now, of course, pull up their last order and look and see what they've ordered. I noticed in your last order that you ordered blah, blah, blah. Have you tried the block? I really feel like the block has been huge for me, and I love the block, and this is kind of what I'm doing right now when I'm following up with people. There's a little video, Jen, have y'all seen that video that lady did that talks about how amazing block is?
What's her name? Do you know what her name is?
No, I don't know what her name is, because she's just kind of like a dietitian kind of. I will send it to you because I have it readily available. I will send it to you. And so what I'm doing is I'm sending, this clip is really, this girl, it's easy to watch. I send it over and I say, hey, I want you to try this block. I think it's really what's helped me over the holidays. It has white kidney bean in it. White kidney bean is so great for your system, and here's why. And then you send them that little link. Anyway, it's 9 o'clock, so I'm way over time. But that is how you lovingly hound on them. And I think if you can get in your head, like kind of you're in competition with yourself, you're like, and for me, I highlight them on my list when they've joined my team. So I like a page of highlights, right? So that to me is like, whoa, I got them, right? So I like to highlight their name. So if you can kind of get that mindset is, if I don't get this person healthy, somebody else is. And who's the best person to do it? You guys are, right? Not somebody else. So anyway, that is how I lovingly hound. And another thing, like if you can't think of anything, Accelerator came out with a new bottle. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. It came out with a new bottle. It's pink. Okay, right? So you've got that to share. Or did you know white kidney bean is amazing because of this, and this, and here's a link. I'm going to share it with you. Or did you come up with the reason? And if you can't come up with a reason, then get creative. Come up with any kind of reason. And follow-up is also important with your ambassadors. Okay, guys, you have to follow up with your team. If you get new ambassadors and you just highlighted their name and you walk away, they are not going to be able to duplicate you, okay? You have to follow up with your team too. You have to follow up with your ambassadors in a quick way, and then I'll let y'all ask questions. A quick way, and I know you're gonna have a million questions for me, right? A quick way that I like to follow up with my ambassadors is I've started different messenger threads with them. So I have some that are like I call them my OL people. They're my outside leg people. And so I've started with some of my runners. I have started, and I secretly put a non-runner in there too. Somebody who I felt like should be a runner, but maybe didn't have the confidence in themselves. And I was sounding like Snoopy's teacher to them, wah, wah, wah. They weren't hearing what I was saying anymore. So I have a group of about 10 people. And what I did is I told them, and I can send this to Jen too, like I flat out told them, I've added you to the group because I feel like you're, a leader in my team, blah, blah, blah. I tell them, I kind of guilt them into it. I'm like, if you leave the group, I'm going to know it and I'm going to give you a hard time about it. So basically, I have that little group, and every day I try to touch in. What's going on today? What's y'all DMO? What are you doing here? What's going on here? They learn from each other. Guess what Natalie gets to do? Not that I want to, but I get to sit back a little bit and have, like happy Plexus mama moments, because what they are doing is they are learning from each other, right? They're learning the power of duplication. And then just today, because I have added a whole lot this month, I started a new thread and I titled it, at the top, like newbie runners. They're my new runners, so that I can see that thread. Anyway, and so they are introducing themselves to each other right now. And guess what? I have a couple people that just want to be wholesale ambassadors. I wanted to be a wholesale ambassador too. I added them to that group. I also told them, I'm like, hey, if the notifications get too much, let me know. I can tell you. Anyway, they are going to stay in the group is what I'm saying. There are no excuses for leaving, and they at least have a place to go and get other ideas. And one other thing about why this is so amazing is you are creating relationships among your team. So when we go to Las Vegas, these people are already so excited about meeting each other. So follow-up is important across the board. Follow up with your team, follow up with your customers, follow up with your potentials. You have to. That is my DMO every day. I am following up all the time. Okay, so that's kind of my spiel. Jen, do we have time to do questions? Do they want to?
Yeah, but definitely. I love what you said. I love your energy. Not that I was going to be surprised and expect anything less, but I love for everybody to see this, and those of you even that are watching this after and not a part of it as live. So like what Natalie said, somebody else is going to share Plexus if it's not you. And so many times I have been approached and said, well, I know lots of people that do Plexus, but like you really do Plexus.
Right.
Natalie really does Plexus. And that energy has to transfer over. And you don't have to, that phrase, fake it until you make it, really does apply here. We have enough support system. You are in a great team. You're in a great company, and you have great sidelines. You have lots of things accessible and available to you. Natalie just gave you, I hope you took notes. I know I took some notes. You're consistently exposed to great learning and teaching opportunities that you should be able to take one thing and run with it. You don't have to know everything to be able to grow a team. You don't have to know everything to get a customer. And like Natalie said, I love just that persistence. Stay persistent, assume the sale, use positive language or powerful language and aggressive language, because people are attracted to that. It's fun. Like whatever Natalie's got, it's like, I want whatever's in her Wheaties, right? They want what's in her drink, in her cup. So let's open it up to questions. If you have a question, just go ahead and unmute yourself and ask away.
They're a quiet bunch.
They are quiet. They're processing.
Can you hear me, Jen?
Yeah, I can hear you, Lori.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Do you do a lot of different posts on Facebook as well?
I do. I try to post twice a day. That's one of the things that Celeste told me from the get-go that really stuck with me, is she said you have to post twice a day. Now I've started to make some of my posts a little more personable. Like if you follow me today, I posted a picture of my little boy eating my M&Ms, and I basically talk about how that I'm a chocoholic, and I wouldn't have let him, but now I let him eat the M&Ms because quite honestly I don't want them, and now I'll just eat them just out of habit. So yes, Lori, that's a long-winded way of saying, I think you're Lori, right? Yeah. Of saying Yes, I do post twice a day. I really try to, but I try to make one a personable one and one an educated one. And here, I'm in a side road, Jen, because this is what I do. But here, there are 3 things that you have to do in your post. You have to, because you don't know what's going to resonate with somebody, okay? You have to do what, if you saw Victor Antonio, I call it the triangle on their head. Everybody has a triangle on their head. So you have to do weight, wealth, wellness, all of them. You never know. I did one about my hair, new hair growth coming in. I had a lady message me and she goes, okay, I saw about your new hair growth. I am losing my hair. How can you help me? So you have to touch on those 3 things because you don't know which one is going to speak to whoever it needs to be today.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great question. Who else?
I have a question.
Hey, Tanner.
Here's the one that I ask every time. What do you do for your business every day? What do you feel is most important that you do for your business every day?
Well, first off, I just am thankful for my business every day, and I never take it for granted. That's first and foremost. I mean, I will walk around the house and just feel so blessed that Plexus is able to pay for it. So I definitely, I know that's not necessarily the answer that you were probably looking for, but that's first and foremost is I never, ever, ever take it for granted. Second of all is I really, part of every single day is I reach out to a handful of people. I love to go through my text while I'm sitting at a stoplight and all my nooks and crannies, and I will reach out to Tim and say, hey, Tim, blah, blah, blah. Follow up, kind of like what I was talking about. That is the main thing that I do for my business every single day, and post on Facebook twice a day, every single day. I need to be better about getting to the post office and actually mailing off samples. But those are the 2 main things. You too, Erica? Yeah, I really stink at that. But those are the 2 things, reaching out to people. Oh, and you know what I've started doing today? I learned this. I went to a little luncheon at Ariel's house the other day, and I actually was there to kind of speak to her team, but I ended up walking away learning something. Cheyenne was there too, Cheyenne Weeble at Diamond, and she said one of the things that really spoke to her is that reaching out and telling, I'm going to use Jen as an example again. Hey, Jen, I know you've seen all my posts. I really think that Plexus, I would love to have you on my team. And this is why. And I just wanted to let you know that I would really love to have you on my team. And if you want to tell me no, that's fine. You can tell me no. But I just really felt called to tell you I want you on my team. Because, guys, there are people like Celeste Gwynn's sister-in-law never joined her team for a long time. And Celeste finally said, why didn't you ever join my team? And she goes, you never asked me. Mm-hmm. So I can't remember where his picture went off, or maybe I don't see him anymore. Anyway, hello, there we are. That's what I've started doing too, is just letting people know, hey, I want you on my team. You're in my top 5. I asked a lady today, I told her she was in my top 5. She's all excited. She's like, I'm going to get back with you later. So anyway, that's what I do every day. So
that's a great.
I could be long-winded. Any other questions?
Oh, Erica has a question.
I have a question. What do you do with those? I have 2 right now, preferred customers. They're both going into their 3rd month, which I know is a big no-no. There should be a personal use ambassador at a minimum. But I don't really get a good feel for how they're liking their products. Like, they respond to me, but they're like, oh, it's good. I can't really tell much, but they're still ordering. So I'm like, there must be something there. What do you do with those people? Like, I want to, one of them's a neighbor, and I want to go knock on her door and be like, I need some details, are you pooping? Give me some meat. But they're the kind of people that just don't really give me much to go on. And I'm a friendly person. Like, I can talk to anybody. So I'm always perplexed as to what to do with them.
That's a really good answer. And a lot of times I'm going to answer it honestly, and this probably isn't the right answer. I might just say, c'est la vie, right? They're a preferred customer. I'm making some money off of them. You know, if you see the neighbor out, you might just say just what you said to me. Hey, give me some meat. I want to know. Like, I'm excited about this. What are you feeling? And if anything, you know, especially if you can get face to face and you are a chatter, then she's going to feel your energy. And she might say, oh, you know, Erica, I actually like X, Y, and Z, or I don't like this. And then that's when you can troubleshoot. But if you've reached out, and you can do, right? And quite honestly, again, and being honest, sometimes if I reach out too much, I'm like, now I'm reminding them that their preferred order is going through. And I don't want to remind them that their preferred order is going through, because I got convention points that I want to get. I mean, again, I'm just keeping it real here, right? So I think at some point you just bless and release, but you're doing a great job following up with them. Just know that. And if they don't want to give you any feedback, maybe they don't want to tell you that they're pooping every day. I don't know what their hang up is.
Okay.
And
Thank
something
you.
else to consider is
It's
if they're still ordering. Yes, I'm back just in time. If they're still ordering and they're not giving you feedback, but they're still ordering, that has no bearing on getting them to move to a personal use ambassador versus a customer. Remember, if they're still ordering, this is just about getting it at a lower price. So it's not that they're not giving you feedback, and you want feedback. I get that. But you can certainly just give them that offer. And I'll just walk away.
Yeah, silence in the room. He just,
For some
sometimes he's a
reason,
tape recorder. He just has to say the same thing over and over again.
For some reason, I feel like with those kinds of people, though, that like we're still kind of dating. Like they haven't decided that they want to put a ring on it. You know what I mean? Like, and so I feel weird about it, but.
Well, when you're dating, there's the phrase, it's time to, and Natalie can appreciate this, poop or get off the pot.
Yes.
Or, you know, what's the cow and the milk, and I don't know.
Yeah. Why the cow when the milk is free? Yes, we know.
Okay, another thing that when I was at that luncheon that they just started doing that Cheyenne mentioned is voice messaging on Facebook is really, she said she gets a better response from that than type stuff, because they can hear your passion, they can hear your voice, they can hear your excitement. And if you're not an excited person and your voice is like, wah, 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 then don't do that, okay? Just stick with the typing. But if you're kind of an excited, upbeat person, then let that shine through in your voice message. That to me, and you can get so much more accomplished. You can get your elevator speech, you can get so much done in 15 seconds. Be surprised. It's kind of fun. Like I record, I'm like, 15 seconds, Natalie, hold it to 15 seconds because I can be a chatter. So anyway, that is, Erica, I love how you said just kind of dating, because that's so true, right? So I would just keep reaching out to them, just maybe telling them about different products. Ask them an open-ended question. Tell me what you're liking about the product. What have you noticed differently? See if they respond. Any other questions?
Sherry, you're not going to ask one? I figured you would.
No, she's pretty straightforward. It was pretty good. I do a lot of those things. I don't feel I'm as, I think I'm a little more passive whenever I follow up. Like if I do it 2 or 3 times and I don't, but I think it would make a difference.
Especially if they have reached out to you.
Right.
If they have told you what they're wanting. They came to you. I posted a post, and I don't think it's compliant right now, or ever for that matter, but I love it, and I get great response. And it's one that says, you know, like it had like a list of gender. You remember this one? It had like a list of 1 to 10, like different ailments, you know, like if you're tired, if you're this, if you're that, if you're this. And then it says to tell which one you are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My audience went crazy over that.
Yeah.
That was actually off that post is how I got so many people to tell me what number they were. So they already told me kind of what their issue was.
Right.
So just keep on them, Sherry, because if you don't, somebody else will. If you stop reaching out to them, they will forget because life gets in the way. In 2 weeks will become a month, and a month will become 2 months. And we don't have time for that. We have convention credits that we need to get. So we have to stay on them, okay?
That's right.
I love it. I love it. I reached out to a girl today who I've been talking to who said, I've been watching your posts for 2 years now. And this was back in August when the kids started middle school together. And she said, I want to get together and talk. Well, we've talked. We've almost closed the deal. And then she's like, I want to wait. I reached out to her again today, probably the umpteenth time. And I said, Kiva, I just need you to be real straightforward with me. Because I said, I'm going to keep asking and keep offering because I know what this can do for you and your family and the goals that she had said. And she's like, no, keep asking me. I promise there will be a time when it's right. And then that's when I came back in and I tried to create that sense of urgency. Like, well, right now is the time to jump because we've got this deal and we usually don't have these kinds of deals. And I don't want you to miss out, especially with, thinking about joining as an ambassador. So it does work. And don't be afraid of I love Rainey says, and Natalie, I'm sure would agree. If you go to a restaurant and you have a coffee cup in front of you and it's empty, the waitress's job is to offer you coffee. You may or may not want your coffee cup filled in that moment, but it's not anything. The waitress does not take it personally when you say, no, I'm good. So remember that when you're offering our products to somebody, especially when they've reached out, if it's not the right time and they say no, that's not no to you. And it's not necessarily no to Plexus. It's just no, not right now. So that will keep you from getting in your head, from keeping you from following up with the next right person who's going to say yes.
I like that you said, or asked her to be straightforward with you, because I feel like that's where people get, like, they don't either want to let you down or and then we start to wonder if we're being too pushy.
Yeah.
And so by saying, just be straightforward with me. Come on. Just who cares?
Yeah.
I like that.
A question that I'll ask is I'll say, and I don't do this in the beginning, a little while, then I say, I want you back. Because I think, I like how Jen worded it too, but it's like, what is holding you back? It almost puts it like, just let it go. Just join it. It's $130. It'll be the best $135 you've ever, like, what is holding you back? And they will shoot you straight, and it might be some silly excuse, like my husband just is against it. It's an MLM and he thinks it's a this, that, and the other, and he's just against it. Then you have something, another little piece of the puzzle. But yes, I think it is A-okay. Don't be fearful of asking, what's your holdup? Why are you, what's your hang up? Whatever however you want to word it, what's holding you back, I think is probably the nicest way to say it. And then what Jen said too. Because I think that's a great point, Jen.
Thanks.
How do you respond to my husband doesn't want me to join because it's an MLM? Because I get that a lot.
You do? Okay.
I do. Actually, my husband's cousin, she's doing great on the products. She won't join.
Okay. Here is what I tell them. First of all, I say your husband is ignorant. He really does not know. And ignorant, if you look up the definition of ignorant doesn't mean idiot. I'm not saying he's an idiot. It means uninformed. So what I do is I go to Wikipedia and it spells it out. It tells you what pyramid scheme is. It will flat out tell you what it is. So I will copy and paste and I will send that over and I will say, look, it's not a pyramid scheme because we sell a product. And I have the privilege of being able to say, and I met the execs. I've met the owners of the company and they're pretty spot on. They're pretty honest people. Like I wouldn't back something up if I didn't firmly believe in it. But if you can get a Wikipedia, I mean, who can argue with that, right? So I just get on there and I find what is it again? I forgot what it's even called. Pyramid scheme, what it is. And you know what? I need to do this with my stepdad. My stepdad thinks it's a pyramid scheme. And I'm like, you're goofball. It is not. But sometimes you have to bless and release on that kind of stuff. Sometimes I think they just don't know what they don't know. I mean, they just don't know. And I didn't know And I jumped in blinded because I trusted who? I trusted Celeste, right? And so they don't know what they don't know. And you can educate them, but then at some point you have to just walk away. Good question, though.
I think you welcome the fear also, or the welcome the objection, like Phil talks about so often, but agree with them too. Yes, I thought when Jen first was talking about it, I was like, oh no, I'm not going to do one of those again. Or I've watched, or in the past, I've experienced that with other companies. But you can even validate your own relationship and go, do you not trust me? Have you not watched me the last 2 years now? Do you think I would still be involved in something that was cheating and taking money and whatever else they imagine in their mind? And sometimes it's saying, well, what does that look like to you? What does that mean when your husband says, I think it's just a scheme? What does that mean, that we're taking people's money and not giving them what they think they're wanting? Sometimes people will answer their own questions and kind of talk them back out of the objection in the first place. Because we all throw out there, I don't know how many times I've had people say, well, I need the list of ingredients before they say they want it and they go, but I need the ingredients list. And if they have a medical issue, that's one thing. But oftentimes I'll go back afterwards and say, that email I sent you, and they'll go, oh, I never read that. It's just like one of those things we say. It's a question that we feel obligated to ask. And I think in our case, that's a natural objection, is this, well, it's my husband or my mom or my family thinks it's a pyramid scheme.
Yep. And I got to be honest with you guys. When I was in college, one of my bosses said, hey, we're going to go to this party and you need to take $40 with you. Guess where I went? I went to a pyramid scheme party. So I had I never made it to the top. I don't even
wow.
That was crazy. And I didn't even realize what that was until I got involved with Plexus and educated myself on network marketing. I went, oh my goodness. That's what a pyramid scheme looks like. I can say that it was still looking back on it now, it's like, oh my gosh, I was in a shady place, right? I mean, those are illegal. I probably could have gotten in trouble. I should probably yell at my boss for taking me there. Anyway, yes, so I have personal experience that Plexus, I promise you guys, not a pyramid scheme. But go to Wikipedia and give them the definition of it. And who can argue with that?
Yeah, love that. That's a great piece of advice. All right, anything else?
I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
So that person that you're always following up with, and they are always kind of dragging their feet. How often? I mean, obviously you continue to follow up with them, but how often do you then continually follow up with them?
Well, I start out at first. Great question, by the way. I start out at first like a house on fire, right? I want to get it while it's hot. They've come to me, or and I will go every 2 to 3 days at first. This is when I'm on, right? I already told you guys that I lost a couple of people because I didn't follow up. So that has in my head, the competitiveness is there. I got to highlight their name off the list. But anyway, I go every 2 to 3 days, and then I'll let it go to every 4 or 5. And then at some point, I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to call them. And that's where I'm going to say, hey, what's holding you back? I thought we really wanted to do this. You ready for your bowels to start functioning? Blah, 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 whatever the case may be. And then they end up doing it. Hey, go get your computer right now. Let's go ahead and walk you through the process. It's so simple. You'll have your website up in 15 minutes. So simple. Really? That's all it takes? Yep, 5 max, maybe. So I hope that I answered your question. But I start out like a house on fire, and then I probably scale it back to once a week or so.
Okay, because I have those people that say that they're interested, and then, you follow up, and then it's nothing, and you hear nothing, and it's obviously I still keep following up, but it's do I just keep following up until they just say no?
Yep, you do. Until they say no and leave me alone or stop asking me, you do, because there's something that brought them to you at the very beginning in the first place. And so that hook is there. And sometimes I think it's a matter of, if you feel like you've followed up maybe 3 times in a row and you're not getting any response, then what I start doing is I make myself visible to them. If they're a Facebook friend, I'm commenting and posting and liking every single thing that they have. I'm reaching out to them and not even mentioning Plexus like, oh my gosh, I saw a sweater at Old Navy that I thought would look adorable. I mean, something so random and silly, but making them realize that you're thinking about them. And leaving and taking the pressure off of them to make a decision in that moment, but you're still staying in front of them. If you're posting twice a day and you're doing those other things, they're seeing it. And I love Erica's story about being at the 7-Eleven and the lady seeing her next to her. And she was like, oh my God, if I would not just see you everywhere. And Erica's like, what is wrong? She's like, I feel like you're stalking me because I'm thinking about Plexus all the time, every single day. I wake up thinking about you, seeing your post. Then I run into you and I see you at 7-Eleven. And then Erica was great. She was like, well, see, it's a sign. You've got to sign up. You're supposed to be a customer, human ambassador. So there are creative ways other than just pushing you're on your phone or you're on your computer and saying, hey, are you ready to order your products today? Like Natalie said, she's very creative and really assumptive with it, but also then just make yourself visible. Lots of ways to do that.
I like that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Well, I'm going to say that we are done for tonight because Natalie was so gracious to give her time. I know she's got her babies to go make sure that they're in bed, hiding under the covers, pretending like their eyes are shut. But thank you again. This was invaluable. I love, love, love your passion and how it comes across in your business. And it's obviously evident of why you have been as successful as you have been and you're going to continue to be. And if you guys see Natalie at convention, go up and give her a hug, say hi. She loves that. She's a sweetheart. Oh yes, Erica's waving her hand.
One last thing, Natalie, I tried to go on Facebook and follow you. I know you probably have a lot of friends or whatever, so I just wanted to stalk you. And it doesn't allow it for some reason. It's not like I can't press on it. So I don't know if that's something that you can fix or if you have it like that on purpose, but
I might stalkers out there that I always want to know like who's following me, so I have to approve them. But
well, it won't need. I friended you, but I don't know if you have enough room for friends, but
I can accept you. Yeah, I can accept you.
Okay.
She's cleared. I'll vouch for her.
I'm only taking 3. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Well, the first
You won't recognize me in my profile picture compared to this. So
So funny. Well, I've really enjoyed seeing y'all's faces, and it's fun because I do keep kind of scrolling over to see what your names are. So maybe I'm not always great with, and Carolyn looks like she's outside somewhere, but I'm not always good. So if you come up to me, please refresh my memory and tell me, hey, I'm Gloria from Jen and Phil's team, or, whatever. But I would love to see you guys at convention. Thank you, Jen, for having me. And I told you I would get long-winded, and I did. And
I love it. I love it. It was worth every minute of it. And he's not in here, so we don't have to worry. That annoying husband. He went off to do something else, though. All right. Well, y'all have a great rest of the week, and we'll be watching. I know there's several of you who are going to be rank advancing, so we're praying and not stressing, but just praying and excited. Taryn rubs her head. It's coming. The 21 points are coming. It's just 21 points. She's acting like it's 121. I'm like, it's coming. So, all right, guys. Good night. Good night. Thanks again, Nat. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye.